Okay, so we are told in part A that we are given the differential, right? So we are told that f dash of x is 2x minus 3 to the power of 3. We are then given a value here, which is f of a half equals 4. Now that f is not the same as the f dash, is it? Right? F would be the function. All right. What? Just remind me. What does f of a half equals 4 mean? Yeah, good. So f of a half equals 4 can be said. We've got a coordinate half 4, or when x equals a half, y equals 4. So that's important that you understand what that means. So how do we get from f dash of x equals 2x minus 3 to the power of 3? How do we get to f of x? Do you remember? Okay, so we're thinking this was chain rule when we. So imagine that we did have this and we went this. Chain rule was used. So you're right. It's going to be 2x minus 3 to the power of 4 had to be the starting point, didn't it? Had to be. But if I were to differentiate that, what would I end up with? So I'm just going to write it over here. This is kind of what I'm doing in my head, but so that would be 4 times 2x minus 3 to the power of 3 times 2, which would be 8 2x minus 3 to the power of 3, like you were saying. Right, so that's not quite right. I want 2x minus 3 to the power of 3, so we have to divide by 8. So I'm going to put a 1/8 in there as the divide by 8. Yeah, because obviously if I started with 1/8 there, this would have been 1/8 times that, which would have been 1/8 times 8, which would have given me the 1. Yeah, so that's the adjustment that I can make. What's missing? The plus c. All right. But we're now going beyond the step of just leaving the plus c. We've got a piece of information, right? So we've got this information here, which says that 1/8 of 2 times 1/2 minus 3 to the power of 4 plus c must equal 4, using this information there, yeah? And now the only unknown is c, and we can sort that out. So 2 to the power of, so 2 times a half is 1, so I've got 1 minus 3 to the power of 4. Got an eighth of that. Plus c is 4, showing all our working. That's 2, so it's negative 2 to the power of 4. What's negative 2 to the power of 4? 16. So then I've got 1/8 of 16 is 16 divided by 8 is 2. So 2 plus 2. So 2 plus c equals 4. So I know c must equal just 2, yeah. So we now know that f of x is 1/8, not 1/2. 1/8 of 2x minus 3 to the power of 4 plus 2. The other thing that's slightly more difficult is, potentially, it's an e to the power of 4x. But can we see how it's basically the same problem, yeah? Do you reckon you could do that, or do you want me to go through it? Let's go through it. Okay. So, we've got, can you remind me, you can read it out. G dash of x equals
8e to the power 4.
8e to the power of 4x, and we're told that when x is
2
5e to the power of 8. Okay. Now you'll look at that going, oh, these are all like confusing me, but hopefully we'll get to a stage where you won't be so concerned about that. So we are trying to find the equation of the curve, so we just want to know what g of x is. Okay. Any ideas? With integration, the method that I've kind of given you is the way it works for me. It might not be a pure maths, but it's like think about where I would need to be to do it the opposite way, yeah? So we're going to assume that I'm going to have an e to the power of 4x. Why? Well, because it's there, yeah? So if I were to start with that, right, if g of x was e to the power of 4x, what would g dash of x be?
4.
It would be 4e to the power of 4x. Why? What rule have we used? What? No. Well, that's always kind of involved, but we've actually used chain rule again, no? Isn't it e to the power of x with 4x inside it? Yeah? So we've differentiated the 4x and we've got the 4, and then we've multiplied by the differential of e to the power of x, which is e to the power of x. So we've got the e to the power of 4x, which replaces the e to the power of x, the substitution thing, and then we've got a 4. But we don't want that, we want an 8. So we need 2 times that, because that would then give me 2 times that, which would give me what I want, yeah? So we're going to have g to the power of x must have been 2e to the power of 4x, but plus c. What do we do now? Sub in. So x is 2, y is that? So I'm going to write 5e to the power of 8, that's the y value, should be gained by doing 2e to the power of 4 times 2, so 4 times 2, feel free to write that as 8 if you want, plus c, so 5e to the power of 8 equals 2e to the power of 8, that's nice when that kind of thing happens, plus c. So what must c be? 3e to the power of 8. 3e to the power of 8 must be c. So we end up with g of x equaling 2e to the power of 4x plus 3e to the power of 8. Are we going to leave it like that? Yep, we're going to just leave it like that. The reason is because we've got 3e to the power of 8 is just a number, right? Do you remember what e is roughly?
2.
Yeah, around that 2 point. Is it 7?
7.
Yeah. And then this is an e to the power of a variable, so that's going to change its value because it's got an x. So there's no point messing around. I can't factorise out an e because they're different. Yeah. This one is a a constant, as we've just worked it out. Okay, going all right? Okay, let's look at the third one then. The rate of change, another way of saying the gradient. The gradient of the function population is given by dp dt is that function. So that's another way of just saying f dash of x or what, yeah, right? But we've got p's and t's instead. It's valid between 0 and 4. T is in years. The initial population was 140. Find the number of fish when t equals. So this seems like a bit of a completely different problem, right? It's not though, is it? Because, let me... okay, so what can we draw from this information? So I've got dp dt is 60 root t. What would you do first?
Make that a power.
Yes. So that would be 60 t to the power of a half. Good, that's your first step. All right. What does the initial population was 140 fish tell me? Think of how we've done all the other two.
It's 0.
Yes, just 0, 140. That's what we get. So when t equals 0, p equals 140. Yeah. So when it says find the number of fish, that's the population of fish. Well, I need, instead of dp dt, I need p equals. Yeah? Is this one chain rule? It's not actually. This one's just a simple power rule one. The function itself is actually really simple. It's just the context it's in. Yeah? Do you know why it's not chain rule? There's no brackets, there's no extra variable. You know, it's a very simple. So, what does that mean then? Well, where are you going to start? Well, power rule, we just do what? If we were differentiating, we'd have subtracted 1, so we're just going to add 1 back on. So t to the power of 3 over 2. So let's just start. So if I had p is t to 3 over 2, that would give me dp dt as t to the power of a half. But what do you do then? You times it by 3 over 2, don't you? All right. But what do I need? I need 60. So how do I get 60? So something times 3 over 2 has to equal 60. So something is going to be 60 times 2 divided by 3. $40. 60 divided by 3 is 20, 20 times 2 if you do it that way. Yeah? So I actually need a 40 times that, don't I? So then I need a 40 there. So that's what I'm going to have over here. 40, but it's going to be a plus C. By the way, there are going to be other ways of going through that bit that I just did. Yeah, other ways that more kind of step by step. Do this. This is a formula. Blah blah blah. You might see that in textbooks or in videos, but this is how I go about. If you want to find a different way and work with that, then go for it. Okay. What's C? Well, this one's nice and easy because 0, 140 means that the C is just the 140, yeah? This is where, although this seems like the hardest question, it's actually nice and easy. So I want to know what's the population when T is 4? So P equals 40 times 4 to the power of 3 over 2 plus 140. What do we get? Well, if you have a calculator, you're good. If you didn't have a calculator, it would be 4 to the power of half cubed, yeah? Using your laws of power. What's that then? 4 to the power of half is 2. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. So actually we've got 40 times 8 plus 140. 40 times 8 is... 4 times 8 is 320 plus 140. So P is 460 fish. So, what do we take from this?